All right, we're sitting down with world champ Ryan Murphy. You bookended the meet with world titles, and um, just overall, how are you feeling about this world championships? It's like your umpteenth world champs at this point. Yeah, your team captain. What are your initial thoughts on the meet?
Yeah, well, my thought right now is I'm tired, I'm ready for a little break, ready for a couple good nights of sleep. But overall, really pleased with how the meet went. Personally, like I think started off with a really solid 100 back, and that kind of got things rolling for me. Then the 200 back, I think I've got room to improve. There's definitely some things to look at there, and make some adjustments in the training and the way that we're approaching that race. So I'm excited about that. I think Dave's gonna have good ideas. I have good ideas, and really excited to put those into action. The mixed medley, I think we had a solid swim there. Just kind of like unfortunate, unfortunate in the middle there, and Tori, like, she thought she was about to false start, and then that kind of threw her for a loop in the middle of the race, and that happens. So no one's fault on that one at all. And then to bring it home on that last relay was incredible. So yeah, great way to close the meet for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are very experienced in that 400 medley relay to close out the meet. You've been on a lot of big ones on that one. It was kind of cool seeing the two team captains and then two rookies on that relay. I mean, can you just give me the vibe of what you guys were, where your heads were at heading into that swim particularly, and maybe what you and Nick were, telling Dare and Jack, even though, they kind of proved they know what's up at this meet.
Yeah, 100%. Later, man. Yeah, I mean, I think it's really for those guys, it's just continue to do what you do. Like they were having great meets to start. And so, I mean, I think in an 8-day meet, like that was probably their first ever 8-day meet. So it's really just like, you got to keep the focus in on what you're doing and not let yourself get distracted, not start thinking about what you're going to do when the meet's over. Just keep yourself in it. So that was the main thing. And, really, Nick and I weren't saying that directly to them. Like I was telling Durden to say that to them. And he was doing a great job with that. And then Nick and I, we were on the wrong side of that relay last year. And I think we both kind of the same thing as Daria and Jack. We wanted to stay in it. Nick had 3 days off going into it. So I knew he was going to be really good. I had a day off before today as well. So it was nice going into that relay a little bit more fresh and, ready to rock.
Yeah. Again, you've been to a lot of 8-day meets at this point in your career. How do you feel like you are able to keep yourself in it? Just having known what that feels like and having moved through so many of them, what does your process look like just in terms of keeping yourself mentally and physically engaged?
Yeah, I mean, it's really just staying disciplined throughout the whole thing. Like I'm someone where I'm really regimented in what I do. And so, with fatigue, like it's harder to just continue to do the right things. And that's really what I was telling myself is like, I know all the right things to do. So I just have to stay on that and, just be tough through it. So nothing too crazy there. I like to try to keep things as simple as possible.
Yeah. So looking at your individual swims, you've been so consistent. We were talking about this every time basically you got in the water. It's like you've been really consistent for the last 7 years or so. I think since 2015 Worlds, it's like you're always right there on the podium. You're dropping 52 lows regularly in the 100 back. So after your individual swims, where do you analyze where you're at 100 versus 200? Because I feel like that's such a hard balance. You don't see many backstrokers doing both now. Where do you analyze where you're at with the 100 versus the 200? and where you might go moving into this upcoming year?
Yeah, totally. I mean, we definitely are seeing people specialize a little bit more, and I think that is pushing the events forward. And so that's something that I've got to talk to Dave and how we're going to approach the training for both events. I would say, like, candidly, I feel better about my 100 back at this meet than I did about the 200. And the 200 is definitely one that I want to be competing for gold in. So, like, that's the takeaway for that one is 200. I think there's room to improve there, and then the 100 there's room to improve as well. Like, I mean, this meet, like in the individual, I went out in 25.4, 25.5. In the mixed medley, I went out in 25.2, and then in this last relay, I went out in 25.0. So, even that one, I'm swimming in different ways and kind of coming out with good times, swimming in different ways. And so I think that's really encouraging. Like, I think being versatile in the way I can swim it is a really quality skill. So that's something that I do want to keep, and just gotta figure out which strategy is the best in the big finals. So that's and that's going to honestly probably change day to day based on how my body's feeling. So listening to the body is really crucial, but going throughout the year, having a process, having really open communication with Dirt, and I think that's probably the secret sauce for the next year.
Yeah. And I guess just in terms of leading the team, being a captain, you've been a captain on a world's team before. What do you feel like that entails for you, or how do you feel like that changes the way you approach your meet or the way you interact with the team?
Yeah, I mean, I think it really, being captain doesn't change how I'm going to approach the meet. Like, sure, I have to be in a little bit more of a vocal role, and I'm totally comfortable doing that. But I think it's, again, that's something that I try to keep really simple. I think the most important part of being a leader is making sure that everyone feels like comfortable here on a day-to-day basis and feels confident that they belong at this meet, that they could step up on the block and race anyone, and then really just being prepared for the moment. So sharing my experiences, having Nick share his experiences, I think is, it's pretty simple.
Yeah. Just on that note, last little thing here. Can you give us a little bit of a peek behind the curtain, just in terms of, there was a lot of rookies on this team, and there was a lot of, just younger guys and new guys. And can you give us a peek at the growth you saw happen over the course of this meet? Because I feel like from a audience perspective, there were a lot of big swims from guys who it was their first world's team, or they're teenagers.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, I think even going back to camp, I think the first 3 days of camp, it felt like everyone was nervous, really quiet, and just kind of feeling things out. And so I think there was a lot of growth over camp, where a lot of people didn't know each other. So it's really just, you give them time to get to know each other. They figure out, who they have like common interests with, and, start hanging out with those people a little bit more. And, so it's like the first week of college. you're just meeting a bunch of people. And then, I mean, in the meet, yeah, I mean, there were, like any meet, there's going to be great swims. There's going to be swims that people are disappointed with. And definitely throughout the week, like I saw a lot of people getting confidence, and then you could feed off that. So I think, hallmark of Team USA has been, we're able to take momentum from the great swims, and, the swims that weren't so great. It's really as simple as, all right, like, write down your thoughts. But the meet's continuing to go on, and we've got to, we want to support you in your disappointment and help you improve. And a lot of that improvement can come after the meet. So that's kind of the message is, we are a team here. We got to continue to keep the ball rolling. And, I think there were a lot of people that helped us get that ball rolling.